Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Kansas City Chiefs Week 6 matchup based on analytics. Each week, I collect all of the current 2017 NFL team data in order to analyze and project potential NFL performance. And since it's a weekly collection, there will always be some fluidity with it. However, there will always be little nuggets of truth that become bigger nuggets of truth as the season continues. So stick around as I analyze each week's matchups based on analytics. And if you're new to the channel, all terms and definitions will be in the description. So starting with this game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Pittsburgh Steelers, something to kind of throw out here first of all, and I know you guys might laugh, but the Steelers are slightly favored over the Kansas City Chiefs. I did not make this up, but that's just what it is. So let me get into some reasons why, because I do know that the Steelers did have an embarrassing loss against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I do think that there are some things data-wise that I kind of like. Just because the data says something doesn't mean I completely agree with the data. I mean, there's things to debate. I'm just simply showing you these are the things that matter to winning football games, and this is how these teams are performing, in terms of weaknesses, strengths, etc. And then ultimately, what happens on Sundays happens on Sundays. All that I can say is usually the teams that perform well in this data, most of the teams, majority of the teams that perform well, are going to win. So from that perspective, the majority of the data favors the Steelers. So let's get into some reasons as to why. So, first off, when it comes to the total D score, this is the biggest thing that's holding up the Steelers is their defense. They have a better defense than the Kansas City Chiefs when it comes to the ability to prevent first downs. Again, total D score deals with the ability to prevent first downs, and the Steelers are better than the Kansas City Chiefs from that kind of perspective. However, there's an overwhelming difference between how well the Kansas City Chiefs are performing on offense when it comes to creating first downs. In fact, the Kansas City Chiefs are the best offense in the NFL when it comes to creating first downs, whereas the Steelers are one of the worst teams in the NFL when it comes to creating first downs, which is a big point that I will come back to at the end of the video in terms of who to pick in this particular game. And then when you look at turnover ratio, heavily favored with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Steelers are actually below average when it comes to that perspective, but the Chiefs are below average when it comes to sack percentage. In terms of preventing sacks, the Kansas City Chiefs are 5.20 out of 100, whereas the Steelers are 85.04 out of 100. So that is actually a key weakness the Chiefs have is basically preventing sacks. I mean, that's kind of an issue that they've had as the season has continued, and that that's going to be something to kind of follow and see what happens. Then, of course, you look at offensive score percentage. The Chiefs have a very, very high offensive score percentage, whereas the Steelers do not. So, again, lots of offensive things favoring the Kansas City Chiefs except for sack percentage. When you go to the defensive side of the ball, this is kind of why the Steelers are favored. When you look at defensive score percentage, heavily favored on the Steelers. The Steelers do not allow a lot of points on defense. You look at turnover ratio. The Steelers create a lot more turnovers on defense. You look at sack percentage. The Steelers create a ton of sacks compared to the rest of the NFL, and they're going up against one of the worst teams in terms of preventing sacks. So again, there's a lot of things that favor the Steelers' defense in this game, on top of interception ratio. But special teams-wise, punt return yardage in favor of the Chiefs, kick return yardage in favor of the Chiefs, preventing punt return yardage in favor of the Steelers, preventing kick return yardage, kind of even but slightly favors the Chiefs. Field goal percentage, more so with the Chiefs. And on top of that, extra point percentage, also with the Chiefs. And punting average, also with the Chiefs. So I would give the special teams advantages to the Chiefs. Defense to the Steelers. And offense, of course, to the Chiefs. But the overall data across the board favors the Steelers. So, I mean, that's the basic thing to point out. And the biggest issue is the sack percentage. That's the biggest thing that's kind of dragging the Kansas City Chiefs down. And I understand that people don't want to make a big deal about it. But when you have a sack percentage like that, all it takes is one hit and then your franchise is done. So that's going to be a big sort of key matchup in this game is you have a defense in the Steelers that are one of the best teams in the NFL when it comes to creating sacks against one of the worst teams in the NFL when it comes to preventing sacks. And that is just the matchup in this game, to be honest, in terms of who will win and who will lose. Then, of course, when you look at other sort of data points, so I'm not going to spend too much time on completion percentage, but this is the Chiefs when it comes to completion percentage terms of various downs and distances. The Steelers' offense versus the Chiefs' defense in this respect, and the Chiefs have a huge advantage over the Steelers when it comes to that particular data point. Then, of course, you look at the Chiefs' offense versus the Steelers' defense in terms of completion percentage, and the Chiefs have a big advantage as well. So completion percentage is definitely on the Chiefs' side, whether you're talking first down, second down, third down on offense and defense compared to the Steelers. Then, of course, you look at rushing down. So this is the Pittsburgh Steelers rushing offense versus the Chiefs rushing defense. And honestly, it kind of favors the Chiefs defense. The Chiefs defense is not amazing when it comes to stopping the run on first down or third down. But the Steelers are just not that great running the football. In terms of first down especially. The Steelers are actually the worst team in the NFL when it comes to getting first downs with the run on first down. So this definitely is kind of in the Chiefs' favor when it comes to rushing downs. When you look at the Chiefs' offense versus the Steelers' defense when it comes to rushing downs, heavily favors the Chiefs. The Steelers' rushing defense is just not really that great. And on top of that, the Chiefs have the best rushing offense when it comes to creating first downs on first down with the run. Then you look at passing down. So this is the Steelers' offense versus the Chiefs' defense when it comes to passing downs. And honestly, it's kind of even, except for third down. The Chiefs have one of the best third down passing defenses in the NFL, whereas the Steelers are one of the worst offenses on third down when it comes to converting in those kind of situations. So for that kind of perspective, I would say it's kind of even, but there is a big advantage for the Chiefs on third down, which can be a crucial down in terms of keeping the chains moving. And then, of course, when you look at the Chiefs offense versus the Steelers defense when it comes to passing downs, it kind of favors the Chiefs, but it also is kind of even. The only advantage the Chiefs have is in terms of second down situations, which is where they're mostly heavily favored. Then, of course, you look at the Steelers offense versus the Chiefs defense when it comes to sacks. Mostly favors the Steelers, but most of the sacks the Chiefs have been able to generate have been on first down, and most of the sacks that the Steelers have given up have been on first down. So that's going to be an interesting sort of situation to see how that unravels in terms of that particular matchup. Then, of course, you look at the sack rate of the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Steelers, and the Steelers have advantages across the board, whether you're talking first down, second down, or third down. Then, of course, you look at interception ratio for the Steelers versus the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have advantages in terms of third down and second down because the Steelers have been throwing a lot of picks on second and third down. I mean, there's no ways around it. And then, of course, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Steelers in terms of interception ratio. And the only sort of slight area of concern is first down, but that's it. Mostly it favors the Chiefs. So overall, how do I feel about this particular game? Well, honestly, I see this as a Chiefs victory. As I keep saying in most of these videos, I do not like going with teams that have bad offenses but above average defenses in many respects. And that is what I see right here. I see pretty much the best offense in the NFL in the Kansas City Chiefs going up against a Steelers defense which is good and has a clear advantage with sacks. Like, that is the key matchup to watch. If the Steelers actually create a lot of havoc in terms of creating sacks, then they got a shot in this game. But you have the issue of the Steelers offense. It's been in a funk this entire year. They don't really do well in terms of converting with the pass, in terms of various downs and distances. They're not amazing when it comes to running the football. Like, this Steelers offense just is not getting it done. And they're going up against a Chiefs defense that is actually kind of competent in many respects, especially against the pass. So from that kind of perspective, I just have to go Kansas City Chiefs here. Even though the data says what it does, again, the data is the data. This is just my own opinion. From experience, from my vast knowledge, whatever you want to call it, my instincts, I just have to go with the Chiefs. I just don't like going with, when you have the best offense in the NFL coming to town, I don't like to go with the team that has a better defense in some respects. And one clear advantage. The sacks is the only area where there is a clear, direct threat to the Chiefs. That's it. That's the only direct threat to the Chiefs, is that sack percentage of the Steelers versus the Chiefs offense. So because of that, I just have to go Chiefs. I just think that offensively they'll just get it done, and I think the Steelers are still going to be in a rut. I just don't trust the Steelers offense to perform well against a competent Chiefs defense in many respects, especially when it comes to preventing the pass. So ultimately, that's how I kind of rolled down on this. Of course, my name is James Coburn. You can find my other work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.